SARTA is a Stark Area Regional Transit Authority. We cover all of Stark County. SARTA has about 220 employees, and we served 2.8 million people last year, and of that about 150,000 was the demand response with people with disabilities. We go to the house, pick them up, and then take them to the doctor's office, school, and to work. We have a very long intake process for people with disabilities to ride SARTA. It's a very long form. We had identified that there was probably like 73 different steps or gate points in that process that people needed to go. And we went through that whole process. We had found only about 0.8% went through the entire process successfully the first time. So we had identified that was a major cost issue. We also identified that was a major issue with redundancy of service, and it actually was a very good customer service. So we wanted to try to identify and straight line and improve that process overall. One of the issues that we had really going into it was just identifying the process and trying to improve it, and actually trying to make sure staff understood that we were trying to improve the process overall, and this wouldn't necessarily impact any individual's jobs or that kind of stuff, because anytime you do some type of internal improvement, people are always afraid it's going to impact their jobs, and that was one of the things we wanted to make sure that we did. Some of the challenges we had internally was just getting buy-in from everyone, because this Kaizen event in Lean is a different way of approaching a problem solving than we would normally do it. The idea of sitting down for several hours and trying to solve a problem is a new way of thinking, and actually the entire stream of things that come in from standardized work and that stuff is a brand new way of thinking. So we had to challenge people to make sure that they knew that this event, actually we would put it to work, because sometimes there's a lot of hang up people have from doing a big event like this and then think that we're not going to do anything with it. So actually the commitment from the organization to make sure something happened to it was a big thing we had to transmit and explain to our employees and get that kind of buy-in. Well, the boot camp itself was a week-long training. The interesting thing is we did a lot of mock exercises in trying to really learn what some of the streamlining was that came out of it. We actually did 2 different Kaizen events because we had found the first one to be so successful in the intake process. We actually did another one with our procurement process. So because of those 2 events, we probably touched every department in one way or another through our 2 Kaizen events we have done here. So one of the tools that we really used within the Kaizen event was the value stream mapping. Well, actually breaks it up what they call swim lanes. Within those swim lanes, you're actually able to map out what your current state is and all the things that you're doing. And actually when you step back from that, you look, oh my gosh, this 72-step process that goes over multiple people and actually has a number of what they call loopbacks, that a process would go to this person here and then loop back to them again. And you just realize how difficult it is for that person to do those part of the input process. And so when you actually do your future state, you're actually able to see how much simpler it is. Well, the main thing we were able to do is we were able to compress that process down from 72 steps down to 22. And so what we were actually able to do then was increase the amount of contract services passengers that we were doing from about 300 a month up to about 1,200 a month using the same resources. Well, the results that we came out of this was we were able to reduce the redundancy within our process. We actually were able to reduce the amount of people that touched each passenger as they went through it. And what we were able to see was by the end of that year, we were actually able to see the amount of passengers who were able to go through the process using the same staff. It actually increased by about 70%. It reduced the intake time from about 21 days down to about 7 days turnaround for contract services. So we're actually able to speed up the delivery of services for people that actually needed it by about 14 days. I think one of the things that we were able to do overall, we actually used some other tools like Question of the Week and some other things like that to improve employee engagement. We did a number of surveys. We've actually then put together these surveys to engage employees better, and we've actually started to implement a number of those suggestions people have given. So I can say that we've actually increased employee morale and employee communications by some of those tools we got out of the LeanOhio training. The training that we received for LeanOhio was some of the best training I've ever received in my 20 years of local government service. It was like the tools we were using before was like the Stone Age and we were in the dark. And after we would actually went through the training, the tools we were given there was almost like going to the space age. And I would actually say that anybody that's in local government needs to go through the local government training because it is the best training I've ever had, and it really did change the culture of our organization.